Welcome, esteemed colleagues and enthusiasts of military aviation history. Today, we delve into a poignant chapter of World War I, a detailed analysis of the tragic fate of Lieutenant Kurtz, as recounted by Captain Eddie Rickenbacker of the 94th Aero Squadron. Down in Flames, the tragic tale of Lieutenant Kurtz in WWI aerial combat. In the summer of 1918, the 94th Aero Squadron, part of the American Expeditionary Forces, had been stationed at the Western Front for approximately 1 month. Amidst the relentless churn of war, Lieutenant Kurtz, a fellow alumnus of Captain Rickenbacker's training days, arrived to join the squadron. Lieutenant Kurtz had distinguished himself during training, particularly in aerial gunnery, a critical skill in dogfights that demanded precision and nerve. His expertise had been honed in England, where he served as an instructor before receiving orders to report to the front lines to gain indispensable combat experience. Rickenbacker noted Kurtz's arrival with a mix of camaraderie and concern. Kurtz's myriad questions reflected both eagerness and a subtle undercurrent of anxiety, an unease not uncommon among pilots about to face the crucible of aerial warfare. The squadron was equipped with the Newport 28, a single-seat fighter renowned for its agility, but also noted for certain mechanical vulnerabilities, particularly with its Gnome monosoupape rotary engine. Understanding the idiosyncrasies of this aircraft was crucial for survival. Lieutenant Kurtz undertook several days of rigorous flight practice, executing takeoffs, landings, and emergency procedures to acclimate to the Newport's handling characteristics. Rickenbacker, serving as flight commander of the first flight, emphasized the importance of mastering these fundamentals, citing the ever-present risk of engine failure, an all-too-common occurrence that required immediate and adept response. The planned mission was a voluntary patrol, a term denoting operations conducted at the discretion of pilots beyond their assigned duties, often driven by a desire to engage the enemy proactively. Rickenbacker and Lieutenant Reed Chambers, both seasoned pilots with multiple victories to their credit, were to accompany Kurtz on his inaugural foray over enemy lines. Prior to departure, Rickenbacker meticulously briefed Kurtz on the mission parameters. They would fly in a V formation, with Rickenbacker leading, Chambers on his left wing, and Kurtz maintaining a position 100 meters behind and above. Kurtz was to avoid engaging in combat unless circumstances overwhelmingly favored them. Emphasis was placed on formation integrity, situational awareness, and adherence to navigational protocols, such as using the position of the sun for orientation in the event of disorientation. Despite the thorough preparation, Rickenbacker observed a discernible tension in Kurtz, a detail that would later assume profound significance. On the morning of June 26, 1918, under clear skies with optimal visibility, a meteorological window often exploited by both sides for reconnaissance and offensive operations, the trio ascended from the aerodrome. They climbed steadily, reaching an altitude of approximately 4,500 meters, 14,764 feet between Nancy and Toul. This ascent aimed to position them favorably against potential adversaries who commonly operated at altitudes ranging from 5,000 to 6,000 meters. As they approached the front lines, Rickenbacker spotted a German reconnaissance aircraft, a Rumpler C-17, operating at an estimated altitude of 5,800 meters, well beyond immediate reach. Nonetheless, he maintained a course eastward, vigilantly scanning for additional threats while attempting to gain altitude. Suddenly, the sky ahead was punctuated by the telltale bursts of Archie, anti-aircraft fire, signaling the presence of enemy aircraft. 3 Albatros Diva fighters emerged, their silvery silhouettes glinting at an altitude advantage of approximately 500 meters above the American pilots. Rickenbacker signaled to his comrades, rocking his wings in the age-old aviator's gesture for vigilance. The Germans wasted no time. Executing a coordinated diving attack, they unleashed a barrage from their twin Spandau machine guns. The American pilots reacted instantaneously. Chambers banked sharply to port, utilizing a split S maneuver to evade, while Rickenbacker entered a half-roll followed by a steep dive, a tactic aimed at disrupting the enemy's firing solution. The Germans' initial onslaught expended their altitude advantage without inflicting damage. Seizing the moment, Rickenbacker and Chambers initiated a counteroffensive. The Germans, recognizing their compromised position, began a tactical withdrawal towards their own lines. Rickenbacker, exhibiting superior aerial tactics, isolated one albatross from its formation. The ensuing dogfight was a testament to the deadly ballet of World War I air combat. At speeds exceeding 180 kilometers per hour, the two pilots engaged in a series of maneuvers. Tight barrel rolls and Immelman turns to gain positional advantage, climbs and dives to manipulate potential energy. Precise bursts of machine gun fire accounting for bullet drop and lead. The Albatross pilot, likely a veteran with several victories, attempted to regain the upper hand by initiating a climbing spiral, a classic maneuver designed to force an overshoot. Rickenbacker anticipated this, leveraging the Nieuport's superior climb rate to maintain pressure. At a critical juncture, Rickenbacker secured a firing position less than 100 meters from the enemy's tail, a lethal range given the ballistics of the .303 caliber Vickers machine guns. He fired a sustained burst, observing tracer rounds converging on the Albatross. The German aircraft lurched, emitting smoke from its engine compartment, and entered a spiraling descent, a potential death spiral. However, experienced pilots sometimes feigned such moves to escape combat. Aware of his dwindling altitude over hostile territory, now at approximately 3,000 meters, and cognizant of the risk of ground-based anti-aircraft fire and the potential arrival of additional enemy fighters, Rickenbacker made the tactical decision not to pursue further. As Rickenbacker turned westward, he noticed two aircraft approaching from his starboard side at a higher altitude. Assuming them to be German reinforcements, a plausible scenario given their proximity to the front, he prepared for immediate engagement. Executing a sharp turn, he angled towards the nearest aircraft, aligning his sights for optimal targeting. However, at the critical moment before firing, he discerned the distinctive roundels of the United States Air Service beneath the lower wing, red, white, and blue concentric circles. The approaching aircraft were, in fact, Lieutenant Chambers and Lieutenant Kurtz, returning from their own engagements. Chambers later recounted his apprehension at seeing Rickenbacker's aggressive posturing, signaling just in time to prevent a fratricidal incident. The trio reoriented towards their aerodrome, spirits lifted by the successful sortie and the prospect of confirmed victories. However, Rickenbacker soon noticed that Lieutenant Kurtz was no longer in formation. Concerned, he conducted an aerial search, scanning the skies and terrain for any sign of his comrade. Nearing the airfield, he observed Kurtz's Nieuport circling at a lower altitude, apparently preparing for landing. Without warning, Kurtz's aircraft entered a steep spin, a phenomenon indicative of aerodynamic stall or loss of control authority. The Nieuport plummeted, impacting the ground with devastating force and erupting into flames. Rickenbacker's immediate impulse was to render assistance. Recognizing the impossibility of landing amidst the treacherous terrain of shell craters and barbed wire, he spotted a French camion on a nearby road. Desperately, he signaled to the driver, imploring aid. Tragically, the lethal combination of raging flames and exploding ammunition rendered any rescue attempt futile. The conflagration consumed the aircraft wreckage entirely within minutes. The profound shock of witnessing Lieutenant Kurtz's demise weighed heavily on Rickenbacker. In the aftermath, investigations sought to determine the cause of the sudden loss of control. It was revealed through a fellow officer that Kurtz had been susceptible to syncope, episodes of fainting induced by hypoxia at high altitudes. This condition, exacerbated by the reduced partial pressure of oxygen above 3,000 meters, was not uncommon among aviators during the era due to the lack of supplemental oxygen systems. Kurtz had confided his concerns to another pilot, but had withheld this critical information from his flight commander. The implications were stark. The physiological demands of high-altitude flight had overwhelmed him at the most vulnerable moment, during landing procedures when precision and alertness were paramount. The following day, a solemn funeral procession made its way through the war-torn landscape. The ceremony was conducted with military honors, a stark reminder of the sacrifices made by so many young aviators. Amid the pervasive din of warfare, Rickenbacker received confirmation from French military authorities. Ground observers had witnessed the German Albatross he engaged crash near Thiaucourt. The victory was official. a testament to his skill and tenacity. Yet the triumph was hollow. The loss of Lieutenant Kurtz underscored the relentless toll of aerial combat, not only from enemy action, but also from the unforgiving nature of flight itself. The incident highlighted critical aspects of aviation medicine and the necessity for candid communication among aircrew regarding medical fitness, a lesson that would inform future protocols. In reflecting upon this narrative, we recognize the intricate interplay of skill, technology, human physiology, and the unforgiving environment in which early aviators operated. Lieutenant Kurtz's story is not merely a tale of individual tragedy, but a microcosm of the broader perils faced by pilots during World War I. The advancements in aircraft performance outpaced the understanding of human limitations at altitude. It was through costly lessons such as this that aviation medicine progressed, leading to the development of oxygen systems and pressurized cabins in later years. Captain Eddie Rickenbacker's accounts provide invaluable insights into the tactical, technical, and human elements of aerial warfare, insights that continue to inform and educate both historians and contemporary aviators. As we conclude this detailed examination, we honor the memory of Lieutenant Kurtz and all those who perished in the pursuit of duty and excellence in the early skies of combat aviation. Thank you for engaging with this in-depth analysis of a pivotal moment in World War I aviation history. If this exploration provided you with valuable insights, I encourage you to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more expert-level discussions on military history and aviation. Your thoughts and perspectives are highly valued. Please share them in the comments section below. How do you think advancements in aviation medicine might have altered outcomes during the Great War? For those interested in further study, I recommend Fighting the Flying Circus by Eddie Rickenbacker and The Aeromedical Legacy of World War I, works that delve deeper into the complexities faced by early aviators. Until our next exploration, stay informed and continue to seek out the profound stories that history has to offer.